Earlier today, a reporter asked White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki about the GameStop rebellion. Now, the reporter didn't use those words. They just asked about GameStop, and they were wondering if Joe Biden would be commenting on what's going on. Jen Psaki said, no. She said, I know it's a big story, but our focus and our big story is getting the American people back to work. In response, conservative personality Jack Posobiec says she's done. This is disqualifying. In response to this, Jeffrey Miller, who is a psychology professor, responded with, by the way, you all know that White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki's brother, Jeffrey Psaki, is a portfolio manager at hedge fund Citadel LLC, one of the main short sellers getting crushed by Wall Street bets in the GameStop thing. He seems to have taken down his LinkedIn profile. I just happened to notice this on the wiki page for Jen Psaki under personal life. I expect it will be updated, air quotes, soon accordingly. And right on schedule, Jen's wiki page was updated in the last few minutes to delete all reference to her brother. Before Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders, activists had been complaining about the revolving door nature of our electoral system, of our political system. From our biggest corporations to the government, there's a revolving door where people will become the CEO of a major conglomerate and then transfer into some government oversight position or have relatives who are, and there is an establishment ruling class that's in control. Bernie Sanders capitulated, he lost, and he gave in and endorsed the system. Donald Trump didn't. He shattered through and ran amok for several years. The establishment grabbed the reins back recently, and now we're seeing, even though they used raw power to take back the reins from Donald Trump, who is not part of that club, what caused Donald Trump has not gone away. And since then, we have only seen the veil be shattered evermore. The system has been exposed. Ever since we saw the rise of the populist movement going for Bernie or for Trump, we've known that there's been a problem. When that didn't work for anybody, because Bernie lost, he was cheated out twice, and when Trump lost the election, the energy turns towards financial markets, but that system is rigged too. This cannot sustain itself. Eventually, the whole thing is going to absolutely collapse. And we saw that when they began to announce they were putting hard restrictions on stocks because they realized the populist revolt, the people's revolution, the plebs were rising up and there was nothing they could do to stop it, be it Donald Trump, be it Bernie Sanders, or be it their financial system, which they use to keep you down and prevent you from rising up, from gaining power, and from threatening their establishment control. They're now trying to restrict cryptocurrencies. The system is afraid, and they're resorting to the only thing they know. And what's that? Culture war issues. I saw a tweet. Someone said that AOC Ocasio-Cortez will not challenge this because she's a pressure release valve for leftism. That basically people on the left who are angry are satisfied with her in office, but people on the right are not satisfied and they won't stop pushing. With the rise of Wall Street bets and the GameStop rebellion, left and right were united and they were going after the machine together. So the machine is going to do everything in its power to stop this. They've tried a desperate move, restricting your ability to engage. You can no longer buy certain shares. We've suspended trading. Circuit breakers are tripped to protect the hedge funds. They're projecting $70 billion in losses for Wall Street. Just in this past month, it's only about 29 days, which is literally 29 days. So what now? They're going to throw every culture war issue at us to get us to keep fighting. And unfortunately, they've got their players set up to do just that. They have rigged the game in such a way that I find it truly incredible. Now, I'm not saying AOC was part of some great conspiracy. No, I think she won. I think there's a reason why people like her. But I think she's the perfect careerist. And there are many right-wing individuals who run more populists, but the media is going to go after what will get us to tear each other's throats to stop fighting about what's happening on Wall Street. They're going to convince us to go after Dogecoin, a meaningless cryptocurrency. Now, I understand it still holds value. People like it. It's funny. But in the end, it won't do anything. So long as people keep their attention focused on the GameStop rebellion, then the system is in serious jeopardy. And that, to me, is what I think we're on the verge of collapse. gamecast.com and become a member. We have an exclusive bonus episode exposing very serious issues, which I'll be very careful about, which is the reason why we set it up on gamecast.com. Members only, it's 45 minutes long, and we're going to be making it free for everybody as soon as we can. We're redesigning the site, and I will say for everybody who is signing up, I just gotta say, too many people signed up. I did not expect it. I'm eternally grateful. I love you all. But so many people signed up so quickly, we encountered an overload in the system, and we are now working overtime to try and get everyone sorted. So if you're having trouble logging in, we are working on it. I am so sorry. I just maybe underestimated how much people wanted to watch this content, and a lot of people are coming. So seriously, thank you. The stuff I'm talking about in this segment and on the Arrow podcast with the GameStop rebellion is one of the biggest threats to the establishment, the political establishment. And that's why I think we're in, they're not going to be too happy with me for much longer. They don't mind when I talk culture war issues. I mean, they probably like it. What I mean by they, I mean like establishment wealthy individuals who are trying to maintain power. That's what I mean by they. These establishment elites like it when we fight with each other. They like it when the left smears me, so they attack me too, they play this game. And they don't want you to realize what's really going on behind the curtain. In a desperate bid to stop the GameStop rebellion, they've exposed themselves, and people can see what's happening. So they're going to try every distraction they can. The truth be told, the culture war issues may be pressed to a point where the whole system erupts. They're going to just keep pushing this. They're going to use every trick they have, and then eventually the system will just collapse, and maybe there will be some kind of civil war. I don't know if that's going to happen. Okay, so this is kind of a long, but it's all part of the same function. You may get stuck in the login process. Just bear with us as we send out emails because we're having to actually pick this up manually after this is uploaded. But don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and let's read some of this. A. Pompliano says, the stock market is now the battleground for world-class meme warfare. Wall Street doesn't realize yet that they are outmanned and outgunned. Check this out. You probably heard this because I covered this earlier and it's been big news. Market closed. Trading platforms restrict GameStop and other red stock picks, sparking drop in price, outrage, and lawmaker tweets. We then have this. Class action lawsuit filed against Robinhood following outrage over GameStop stock restriction. Then today, Robinhood restricts crypto trading due to extraordinary market conditions. The last 4 years was a terrifying failure on the part of the establishment, and they must do everything in their power to correct it. Bitcoin is a problem. They struggle to control it. They can, but it's not so easy. A decentralized global store of value is difficult to control. As Dogecoin and Bitcoins are surging, Robinhood restricted crypto trading, and it wasn't just Robinhood. From PayPal, once again, Coinbase has disabled buying and selling of some crypto assets. Why? People are taking back control. The internet has decentralized and democratized so much of this world that they are freaking out over it. And they don't know exactly how to deal with it, but they're trying to take it all back. We're now hearing that in DC there's going to be a permanent fencing zone. Permanent green zone fencing around Congress, and they will keep backup forces on standby 2 days after the acting Capitol Police Chief admitted they bungled the response to the MAGA riots. I know, it seems like a jump, doesn't it? What we just saw with the storming of the Capitol was dumb, in my opinion. What we're seeing now with Wall Street bets is brilliant. Legal, peaceful, persuasive, and resourceful. Who's mad about that? Hedge funds, the ultra-rich, the establishment, the cronies, not the regular people. But the establishment machine knows that they're at risk of pitchforks and torches, so they're setting up a permanent lockdown zone. Donald Trump was not supposed to win, and now they're doing everything they can to try and clean this mess up, but the veil has been exposed in the process. Check this story out. Alt-right Twitter troll Ricky Vaughn busted for voter disinformation. If you're on the left, just hear this one out. The man behind pro-Trump Twitter troll account Ricky Vaughn was busted in Florida on Wednesday for spreading disinformation during the 2016 presidential election in a scheme to limit black turnout. I think it's a terrible thing. Apparently this guy posted a tweet that said, if you want to vote for Hillary, text announced this number, and it wasn't true. Now, on the right, they say he was posting a meme. It was a joke. People were being silly. Well, what they're saying in the government is that more than 4,900 people were tricked because of that text. They voted improperly. They didn't vote at all. They just texted the number thinking they did. Voter manipulation and disinformation is a crime. But think about this. 2016. Why are they going after this guy now? I mean, this is what, almost 4.5 years later, they're going after this guy. They are cleaning up. Now that the establishment has taken the reins back, they're going to go back and start cleaning up. Now, maybe some might argue it's a good thing, sure. But this is a guy who went on the internet and posted an image, a meme image. Perhaps it should have just been deleted. Some argue it was free speech. I argue it was detestable. I'm not a big fan of this. But now we're learning, check this out, that an ex-FBI lawyer is only getting probation and a $100 fine, a 12-month probation, after he literally tweeted something about being part of the resistance and physically altered evidence so that the U.S. government could spy on a Trump campaign individual. 12 months. This other guy's getting arrested for posting an image. A lot of people are highlighting this, saying the establishment machine is coming back for blood. They want revenge. And they probably will get it. In my opinion, however, I think we're seeing the absolute collapse. Conservatives warn culture. Political wars will worsen. What we're seeing with DC and the barricading of this area, the green zone, is fear from the political establishment, the actual politicians. As people like AOC say that Ted Cruz was almost got her murdered. It's just not reality. But that's, the pressure release valve. The culture and political wars will worsen. I agree. I don't want people to be distracted though. And this is the challenge I have when I'm trying to cover the news of the GameStop rebellion. What people are doing in going after these hedge funds is real power that's shaking the machine. Let me explain more. It's not just about the one hedge fund or Citadel where Jen Psaki, White House press secretary's brother, works. It's about the entirety of Wall Street and this financial institution and apparatus which keeps poor people down and working class people down and strips away value from them. The people over at Wall Street Bets have exposed a very serious weakness. It doesn't matter if it's GameStop or Melvin Capital or Citadel. After this, they can do the same thing. Elizabeth Warren, corporate Democrat, has come out against the little guy. I'm not surprised. She's Hillary Clinton with a Bernie Sanders mascot, as I've said in the previous segment. After this whole GameStop rebellion ends and these stocks go back down or whatever, the risk to an individual is low. If people are buying stock and they're only one, I know, forgive me if I said it in the other segments and you've heard this podcast, but for those that didn't, it's important. After this happens, next week, they can target any other stock, any other firm. This power of 6 million individuals will not stop. The conservatives who are warning culture, political wars will worsen are correct. The media machine distracted. They will do whatever they can to get you to stop engaging in the GameStop. Dogecoin, guys, come on! It's a funny ignore. Kurt Worm's getting a job in government. Ignore it. That's what they want. They want you to focus on Dogecoin and sports as they extract the value of you and your family. Billions of dollars overseas while teachers aren't getting paid. Soldering this down. They destroy our restaurants, our retail shops. They transfer the wealth to people, and when the people finally strike back, it stops, and we can see 5/4 lane to these decisions. I'll tell you what's going on. We have the story from Axios. So the verdict is clear. The vast majority of Republicans will stand firm with former President Trump. The next phase is clear too. Republicans are that big government, big media, and down. Why it matters? The post-Trump GOP especially, its media platforms paint the new reality as an existential threat. This means political attacks are seen or characterized as assaults on their very being. They go to mention politician Tucker Carlson told us that many in Trump's base feel the combined forces of global power have turned on them and are cracking down hard, hilariously in the name of democracy. Not a sustainable moment, Carlson said, something to break. Ben Shapiro, media leader on the right, told us this sentiment is widespread and it grows more dominant with every New York Times columnist calling for social media crackdown. Every WAPO columnist lumping in mainstream conservatives with Capitol rioters. Every corporation mirroring woke priorities. I'm not going to read too much because I think you get the point. Now, these guys are still playing into the culture war stuff. I'm not saying no one can. But we recently saw former SEC commissioner basically say that the GameStop rebellion is domestic terrorism. She said it's much like the January 6th storming of the Capitol, and without police there to do anything, we need to stop this. She referenced the police stopping this. That's the real insurrection they can do nothing about. Maybe they can ban the Discord for Wall Street's bets due to hate speech. I heard that they may have been reinstated, I'm not sure, but that's nonsensical. Hate speech. Wall Street Bet says all we're doing is running a forum talking about buying stock. You see the problem here. They could maybe ban Wall Street Bets on Reddit. For what though? What are they doing? How do you stop a left and right-wing populist unified moment? They can't. They try and play this game of left is bad, right is bad, red and blue and all that stuff, but right now there's a unifying moment. 6.1 million people targeting the Wall Street fund machine. And they can't stop it. But they're trying. They're trying in very obvious ways. Miami Herald. Resolution drafted to expel Marjorie Taylor Greene from the House. How will it work? They say Rep. Jimmy Gomez, a California Democrat, said Wednesday that is introducing a resolution to expel Marjorie Taylor Greene, whose ties to QAnon and other conspiracy theories have drawn increased scrutiny. Her very presence in office represents a direct threat against the elected officials and staff who serve our government. And it is with their safety in mind, as well as the security of institutions and public servants across our country, that I call on my House colleagues to support my resolution to immediately remove Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene from this legislative body. The Constitution gives Congress the ability to expel a House member who engages in disorderly behavior through a 2/3 majority vote. It's unlikely to happen, as Democrats hold a slim majority in the chamber. Only 15 members in the Senate and 5 House members have faced expulsion, which is typically reserved for only the most reprehensible conduct and crimes, such as treasonous acts. The story. I don't care. They're trying to make this bigger. They're trying many different ways to make this away from hers for my team's safety. I've called for the expulsion of members who incited the insurrection from day one. Bring HRES 25 to a vote. 35,000 retweets. Well, it may be working. I mean, Dogecoin is through the roof. People are tweeting about Dogecoin instead, and they're trying, the establishment, to put out that message to get away from what's happening with GameStop. Elizabeth Warren is currently trending right now with 78,300 tweets because she's defending the hedge funds. Do you see what they're doing? Cori Bush is yelling at Marjorie Taylor Greene. The left is coming out saying, I'm going to take this seriously. Back in my mind for this to be sorted. She has said 9/11 was fake and all this other stuff. They keep responding and tweeting this saying, yeah, Slay Queen. Target Marjorie Taylor Greene. Why should I care about Marjorie Taylor Greene? She posted this. Rep. Cori Bush is the leader of the St. Louis Black Lives Matter terrorist mob who trespassed into a gated neighborhood to threaten the lives of the McCloskeys. She is lying to you, she berated me. Maybe Rep. Bush didn't realize I was live on video, but I have the receipts. Marjorie Taylor Greene then posts a video where you hear her talking and then someone starts yelling at her. I still don't care about her or Cori Bush. Spare it. I don't want to hear it. I think the